What if I told you God went to war with an empire? Not with swords, not with armies, but with signs. Terrifying, unstoppable, divine signs. And every one of them struck at the heart of a nation that refused to listen. This isn't just a story of frogs, fire, and darkness. It's the story of a God who hears the cry of the oppressed and answers with power the world had never seen. If you're ready to see how God silenced the gods of Egypt, make sure to like this video. And if you love powerful Bible stories that reveal God's heart and His glory, hit subscribe and stay with us till the end. For over 400 years, the Israelites were slaves in Egypt, beaten, pressed, crying out to God for deliverance. And God heard them. He raised up a deliverer, Moses, a man who once walked the palace halls of Pharaoh, now returned with a staff in his hand and fire in his spirit. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hard. He refused. And so God responded not with negotiation, but with judgment. The first strike fell on Egypt's lifeline, the Nile River. Moses lifted his staff, and the water turned to blood. Fish floated to the surface. The stench of death filled the air. For 7 days, Egypt had no clean water. The gods of the river were silent. Then came frogs, countless frogs. They crawled into ovens, beds, bowls, and palaces. No place was untouched. When Pharaoh begged for relief, the frogs died, and their rotting bodies filled the land with a putrid smell. Next, dust turned into gnats, swarms of them covering skin, eyes, and nostrils. The magicians of Egypt tried to copy it, but failed. They whispered to Pharaoh, "This is the finger of God." But Pharaoh's heart was still hard. Then, dense clouds of flies invaded Egypt. Filthy, buzzing swarms darkening homes, spoiling food, tormenting people, yet not a single fly entered the land of Goshen, where God's people lived. After the flies came death. Every Egyptian horse, donkey, camel, and cow collapsed in the fields. But none of Israel's animals were touched. Then came the boils. Painful sores broke out on every person and animal in Egypt. Even Pharaoh's magicians couldn't stand before Moses because of the boils. Still, Pharaoh refused. Next, God sent hail. Not ordinary hailfire mixed with ice. It smashed trees, crushed crops, shattered everything it struck. Whatever survived the hail was consumed by the next plague, locusts. They covered the ground until the land was black, devouring every green thing left. Then the light vanished. Darkness fell over Egypt, not like night, but something heavier, a darkness that could be felt. For 3 days, no one moved, no one spoke, but in Goshen, there was light, and still Pharaoh refused. Then God gave one final warning, one final plague. At midnight, I will pass through Egypt. Every firstborn son will die. But to the Israelites, God gave a way of escape. Each family was to take a lamb without blemish and paint its blood on the doorposts of their home. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. And that night it happened. A cry rose from Egypt like none before. From the greatest palace to the poorest hut, death had visited every home except those covered by the blood. And Pharaoh, shattered by the loss of his own son, finally said, "Go, leave my people. Take your flocks, your families, and go." The 10 plagues weren't random acts of wrath. Each one struck at the gods of Egypt, revealing their powerlessness. And through every sign, God proved He was not just Israel's deliverer, but the one true God. And to this day, the blood on the doorpost points to a greater lamb, a greater deliverance, and a greater sacrifice still to come. This story really does explain why you should never ignore God. His patience has limits, but His power has none. If that truth hit you like it hit me, don't just watch and walk away. Share this video. Subscribe for more biblical stories that shake the soul. And remember, when God speaks, it's never just noise.